KeefKeys.com, and on today we have a special interview on our series of Behind the Mix. We have none other than AD from AnnoDomination.com, Anno Domini Beats. And on today we're just going to talk to him, and he's going to let us know about what successes that he had in his career and some things that he has done throughout his producing career that has led him up to the point that where he is now. So without further ado, let's welcome AD. How you doing, man?
Keyz production.
I'm doing good, man. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate this. So I'm glad to be on board. Hopefully, give some of the aspiring producers some tips to get them started on their path. And yeah, let's do it.
All right, man. First off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, just general, like about you personally, like where you're from and how you actually got into doing music?
Yeah. So well, my name is AD. I'm the CEO of Anno Domini Nation, and basically the company started in 2004. So we've been doing this for about 10 years now. And when I started out, I was just doing music for fun, really. So I never, it was never my purpose in life to be a music producer. I was just always a massive hip-hop and R&B fan. And, I just loved listening to music. And one day I was in college. I was just bored, like most students are. And, I was spending an afternoon. I downloaded some free music software. I started playing around. And, I found I loved it. I had a knack for it. I really enjoyed doing it. And before I knew it, people were asking to make music with me, to buy my music. And, something just kind of clicked in my head, I guess. And before I knew it, I had a fully fledged business. And I felt really blessed that all of a sudden I was doing something that I loved doing and getting paid for it and having a great time. So that's where it all started, really, I find that it's really important to get into something for the love of what you're doing. So if you're a new producer and you're only motivated by, women and money and cars and stuff, that's not the right reason to get into music. Right. So you need to make sure that you're doing it for just the love of the music itself and that you're enjoying what you're doing. So for me, if I wasn't doing music as a profession, I'd still be making music as a hobby. I just like what I'm doing. So that's the basis, that's the foundation right there.
That's great. So like you said at the beginning, you're CEO of your own company and stuff. Can you tell us a little bit more about Anno Domini Beats?
Yeah, so like I said, we started in 2004, so we've been going about a decade now. When I started out, it was just me, just doing it by myself. Back then, I was on this website called soundclick.com. You might have heard of it. It's a pretty big kind of producer hangout spot. It's kind of declined, but back then it was basically the place to be for music producers. And when I got into making music, like the whole online beat selling thing was just kind of kicking off. So I was kind of fortunate that I kind of rode that wave. And, me and a couple of other producers were kind of setting the standard, and we were coming up with these terms like beat lease and stuff like that. Something that just seems like generic now was pretty groundbreaking back then. So, yeah, we kind of, we were like the pioneers back then, doing like the online beat hustle. It was a great time. And so it was just me doing it at the start in 2004. And after a while, I started realizing that if I wanted to grow, and if I wanted to put out beats on a regular basis, then I had to get some more producers on the team to, lighten the load so I could concentrate on like marketing and branding and getting the name out there, doing like networking and stuff like that. So I hired a couple producers, and over the years the team just kind of grew. I always made it a point to only work with producers that basically I get along with, who I could work with really well, who are really grounded and who hustle hard. So for me, it's really important that producers are organized, that basically, they're doing it like me for the love of the music, first and foremost. And, with that kind of basis in mind, we just kind of grew our team over the years. And now we have 12 producers that are part of Anno Domini Nation. So I guess we had about a producer a year. Yeah, and that's the basis of everything we do, basically. When we started out, we were just working with independent artists, which is still the bread and butter of what we do. So, we always try and do things for the independent artists. Even now when we're working with bigger artists, we always try and keep that in mind. So we never forget, where we started out, who was supporting us when we started out. But, over the years, we started getting more into major label stuff. We started doing some sync licensing stuff for TV, movies, and video games. And yeah, that's something that we're really focusing on in the year to come. Just trying to get more placements in TV shows and movies and stuff like that. So that's where we're at right now.
Wow, it's very interesting that you said that you were actually a part of the movement that of something that we take for granted right now that a lot of us producers use, and that's the leasing that we all do online and stuff like that. Is pretty remarkable that that this concept isn't so old, but it isn't so new as well, and it's something that you definitely implemented from the beginning, which is definitely contributing to your success now. Um, so I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, that kind of shows how long you really been doing this thing. Some
Yeah,
people.
it's kind of like the OG scenario in like online kind of environment.
Right. Like, so now I think we typically have that genre, that sector now. We have an OG online beat selling genre.
I'm gonna put that on my resume from now on, I think.
So, can you tell us more about like the relationships with these other producers that you work with? Particularly for me, I always had an aspiration and a desire one day to actually build a business myself with other producers as well. I work with other producers, but not so much in the context of one business per
Yeah.
se. Can you just explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, my thinking behind the whole thing was that if you're just one guy, you have to do everything yourself, right? So to me, being successful and selling beats, especially online, it's 90% business and only 10% like the actual skill of beat making. So there's no point sitting on like 1,000 beats, which are all really hot, but nobody knows about them because you're not marketing yourself. You're not, pushing the brand. You're not making people listen to what you're doing. So I'd rather have like 10 really hot beats and everybody knows about them and wants them. So, keeping that in mind, I figured that the best thing to do is to start growing a team of producers because then you have a constant output of beats. And, while other people are, taking care of some of the creative stuff, like taking some of the burden off you, maybe collaborating on a beat with you or making an entire beat for you to sell, you can kind of focus on the business side, like growing the brand, marketing, doing all the social media stuff, email marketing, all that stuff. So for me, that was really important. And at this point, because I have 12 producers, I almost feel like a responsibility to make sure that they're doing well. So it's not just about my income, it's about making sure that, my whole team is winning. So with that in mind, it's important to me that I have time to do all the business things. And you can only do that if you have, a team working for you doing like some of the creative, like taking some of the load off your shoulders, basically.
Wow, that's definitely a good point that you just pointed out is the fact that a lot of times when you work with others, if you have the mindset of, oh, we're about to get money or we're about to make this money per se, then you
Right.
wouldn't necessarily concentrate on each individual producer. All you know is that they're doing, whatever on behalf of your name, and that's something that you don't want, but you definitely want to see success in each individual producer that you actually have on your team. Um,
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, for me, the individuals make up the team. So, if there's one bad link in the team or one guy who's not happy with a situation, then that's going to affect like the entire output. And I just want to make sure that everyone on my team is happy, everyone's doing well. That's really important to me. So, yeah.
That's pretty great. So when in your career, if and when, did you find yourself really being successful at what you were doing? Like when you had that thought, like, okay, I think I have arrived. Like, what point in your career, if you have that point yet,
Yeah.
what point?
I mean, there was like a few key moments. Like, even the first time I posted a beat online and I sold it for like $10 or whatever it was, for me that was like a huge thing because I wasn't expecting that. I was telling you earlier, I got into it just for the love of making music. So for me to put a beat out there and somebody to love it so much that they want to give me money to use it was like crazy. It like blew my mind basically. So that was the first moment where I was like, damn, this is fucking cool. I want to be a music producer. So, that first sale was just everything, right there. That's like, it's insanely motivational. The next kind of step for me was, so I was doing like the music thing while I was going to college, I was kind of studying and working at the same time. And I was really lucky actually because after even like a year or two of making beats, I was getting like a pretty stable income. And I managed to pay my way through college without any kind of debt or anything. So you know, when I left college, I realized that I had no debts. I had a degree. I had a job already. So that was another moment where, to me, that was like, wow, you know, this is amazing. Like, I'm not necessarily rich or anything. Like, I'm not getting huge money, but for a student, you know, I've got a job. I don't have any debts. I don't have any bills or anything like that. So, you know, I felt really blessed. That was another point where, you know, I was just really happy. And from there, that's when I started taking music like more seriously. So before that, you know, my kind of time was split between like studying and doing the music thing. And then after college, I realized, you know, I'm just going to go for it. So I dedicated all my time and all my resources, and you know, I dedicated all my concentration on just trying to grow the beat thing. And you know, within like another like a year or something like that, I was making a decent income. I was, you know, I had producers on my team who were also making a decent income. So you know, at that point, it made me feel better about myself that I was enabling other people to follow their passions as well. So you know, at the same time as me, sort of, you know, getting my own money and making my own money and growing my business, I was also growing their business, and that's, you know, that's so motivational when you can actually help other people to, you know, reach their aspirations and their goals. So I guess that would be like the ultimate step for me now. That, you know, I'm not just helping myself to get an income, but I'm helping other people to get an income, and that just feels great to me.
Wow, that's great. I'm glad that you pointed out that you're helping other people to get an income, because a lot
Right.
of there's this free idea going around in everybody's head. So it's, you know, it's, get my software for free, record for free, get this beat for free, and then you expect to make an income. And
Right,
it doesn't work
right.
that way. It doesn't
Yeah,
work that way.
I mean, a lot of producers need to understand that if you want to make money, you need to invest money. So it's not just about the time. It's not just about, you know, your dedication and your willpower. You need to actually be prepared to invest financial money as well. And to me, you know, like I've always been self-funded. All of my equipment I bought myself. You know, all of my software is not pirated, so I take great pride in that. And you know, from an artist's point of view, you're not going to make a huge career just like rapping on tagged free beats that you download off the internet. If you take yourself seriously as an artist or a producer, you want the best quality. You want to put the best stuff out there. You want to hear people, you know, you want people to hear you rapping on the best quality beats. You want the wave files. You want the untagged beats. You want it mixed and mastered right. You want to push an image of yourself which is top quality, you know. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, other people are not going to want to invest in you. So you know, why should I listen to some rapper who, you know, he's just rapping off like tag beats. It's like low quality. He probably recorded it on his phone or something. You know, he's doing it like half-assed at like 12 in the morning or something like that. So to me, it's important to invest in yourself.
Well, very great point. So if anyone ever you have a chance, you go visit his
Mm.
website. It will be in the description box below. When you go visit his website, you will see all of these amazing relationships with different companies and producers, as in Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, MTV. I mean, it's crazy. Can you tell us a little bit, or when did you get like your first placement ever, like with a large company or a large artist?
Yeah, sure. 'Cause we kind of came from that whole like underground hip hop tip. So the music that I grew up with, the music that I loved, was that kind of East Coast New York sound. You know, like Wu-Tang Clan, Mobb Deep, Gang Starr, stuff like that, Nas, and all those. So for me, when I was like coming up, when I was trying to network, like the first people I was hitting up were those kind of MCs. You know, I was trying to work with like Jedi Mind Tricks and you know, like all the like underground guys. So the first like big placement, like for me, big placement was when we did the track with Vinny Paz, and at the time, like you know, I was listening to all the Jedi Mind Tricks albums, so for me, it was like a huge deal to be working with Vinny. So that to me was like the first real big placement. You know, after that, like things kind of developed, and like through word of mouth, I suppose, our name was spreading. Our website was growing pretty big. People who were searching beats online just somehow tended to end up on our website. And just through that alone, you know, like it made networking so much easier and opened so many doors for us. And after a while, you know, back in the MySpace days, so this is how old I am. I used to use MySpace to network. But back in the MySpace days, we used to just message like random artists, and out of maybe like 100 messages we sent out, like one would bite, and would be like, yeah, your beats are great, we want to work with you. But after a while, after the Vinny Paz thing, after a couple more like of those kind of features, we started just getting contacted by the labels and by the artists themselves. So yeah, and it kind of reached a point where we're really fortunate to actually have people chasing us for beats. They might have heard like some of our stuff on other people's albums, and they wanted like a similar sound or something like that. And it all kind of built into eventually, some of the big features that you're talking about, like Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent. The Snoop feature, that was about like 2 years ago. And that was with a German artist, actually. So many people don't know this, but I'm actually from Germany originally. So my old like hip hop connections, they're rooted in Germany. That's where I came from originally. So yeah, we did a track with this German artist and Snoop. And like a year later, we were trying to push this New York artist called Chew Biggs. And my co-producer 2Deep managed to get Chew and Tank and 50 on a track. So that was not too long ago at all now. So yeah, that's how that came about. And yeah, that's still getting spins on the radio right now. So it's crazy sometimes.
Well, that's pretty big. One thing that I picked up on when you were talking about is that basically it was word of mouth, and that's because your music basically was everywhere. It was in a place where it could be found, and other people were actually talking about it. And nowadays we have, it's so funny. I'll talk to certain producers and stuff like that, and I'll be like, well, where's your music at? And then it's like, you don't have your own website, or you're not on SoundClick, you're not on my Flash Store, you're not on YouTube, you're not on anything. And then when if I ask to hear your beat or something like that, a lot of them be like, well, I don't know if I want to let you listen to my work. And I'm just like, well, it gets to a point that if people don't know you, then how do you expect to run a business even making beats alone? Like, how do you even expect for you to have a name or have your name to hold weight to any degree if nobody's talking about you? And what you just stated yourself was that you have got to the point where people had no choice, in other words, to actually mention you, to speak about you, and then when they went to go search, they will ultimately find you.
Yeah, I mean, to me, there's two main points here. The way that we managed to grow so quickly, like we did, like back in the day, the first thing was that we gave stuff away for free. So a lot of producers are super protective of their beats. They don't, like you say, like sometimes they don't even want you to hear their beats. They're just going to tell you like, oh, my beats are crazy. But if nobody's ever going to hear them, like nobody's ever going to know that they're great beats. So we always made it a point to give stuff away for free so that artists could download stuff, for non-profit use, low quality, but they can still get it. They can record in it. They can put it on the internet. So, hopefully they'll credit you and your name is spreading that way. And actually, like, to this day, a lot of the customers we have now, like some of our best customers, they came from downloading the free beats like a couple of years ago, when they were starting out as an artist. Maybe they didn't have the money to buy a beat back then, so they just recorded something for free. 2 years down the line, they suddenly have a record deal. They're hitting you up for custom beats and stuff like that. So, that's just a great way to grow your customer base. It's like a long-term strategy, so you need to start getting out of that like short-term mindset,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, when I was just on your website, a big pop-up popped up, and it was like, download 100 free beats.
Right.
100? Like,
yeah, I mean, the thinking behind that is, like I said, we like supporting independent artists. That's where we came from, first of all. Secondly, we've been making beats for 10 years. We have a lot of beats. There's a lot of beats that, we're not selling anymore, but, that a lot of MCs still want to have. So we just give them away for, like a small incentive, like join our mailing list, which is, it's like a win-win situation. The artist gets the free beats. He gets emailed about like new free beats and deals and stuff like that. And we get a new potential customer. He might one day decide he wants to buy something off us. So that's kind of the thinking behind the 100 free beats thing. Yeah, so
you kind of answered my next question in a sense, but if you have another answer to this, I was going to ask if you had a key thing that you would actually offer to producers, or like a piece of advice that you can really offer to producers about selling beats online. You just mentioned like, you know, to have an incentive, and which is big because nobody's going to want to hear or use your stuff if they don't feel like it's going to benefit them at all. So you did mention the 100 free beats and how that's also a win-win for you because they have to join your mailing list, which is a very, very, very great source and form of content.
I would say it's the best source of content, really. Like if I could go back and do it all over again, the one thing I would start out with is to grow a mailing list right from day one. So I didn't really come across that until maybe like 2 or 3 years ago or something like that. But trust me, once you have a mailing list, once it's a valuable mailing list that people are opening and they're clicking your links and they keep reading it, it's probably the single most important source of potential income and just a way to keep in touch with your customers and your fans as well. So yeah, if I can give like one piece of advice in terms of marketing, it's get a mailing list, give them a free incentive to join your mailing list. So don't just put it out there and say join. Say join and get, I don't know, 10 free beats or get a free drum kit or something like that. I mean, after a while, like you will get the odd guy who only subscribes because he wants a free drum kit or he wants the free beats and he's not interested in you at all. But those people are going to start to filter out of your mailing list. So if you're getting 20 new subscribers and 18 drop out, it doesn't matter because you still get 2 new subscribers who are actually genuinely interested in what you're saying. So a lot of people get freaked out because they have a mailing list and every time they send out a newsletter, like 20 people unsubscribe. And they start getting mad, they're like, oh, why did you unsubscribe and all this stuff. Like, you don't even want those guys on your mailing list. They're not the ones who are going to be purchasing your beats if they're already getting mad at you just for sending them an email. So don't even worry about that. Yeah. But, if you can just capture like one guy a week who's genuinely interested in your stuff, who might buy a beat off you, that's already worth it. That's already like golden.
Yeah, you make a very valuable point. Because you run across a lot of artists who actually want the free beats, the incentive, and that's it. And so later, if you send another email out, I actually had this happen to me. There was a guy who just, out of nowhere, he just snapped on me and was just like, you're not a legitimate producer, and because you have to sell beats online. And I'm just looking at it like,
yeah, welcome to 2015.
I just left it alone and said, have a good day. Best of luck to you and your music. But definitely, you make a very, very valuable point. That a mailing list is the actually best way of actually contacting an artist because, especially you can build a relationship personally through the email list, and there's not too many people in retrospect of comparing to social networks per se, actually marketing or talking to you about their music, in that close of a level, on that degree. So right. If people see you in their mailing list, they're gonna be like, oh, he really is concerned about my music. He's really concerned about me, and rather than everybody spamming, go check out or download my beats now or check out my beats on Twitter.
Right. I mean, that's one thing, like, a lot of new producers just don't get. They try and give you the hard sell, but you're never going to get someone, well, you might get, like, a few people here and there, but it's not going to work out long term, just basically telling people to, go to your website. You can't just blast at someone like, check out my beats, I have the best beats. That's not how it works. You need to get into a conversation with people. You need to give them value, If you're posting on your Facebook or your Twitter, you might want to make like an educational post every once in a while, give away some like information. If you're a producer, you might want to give artists some information about like recording, like the best studio mics or the best mixing and mastering techniques, stuff like that. And people are going to engage with that content. So it's much better also to ask questions and get people's feedback. So instead of saying like, here's my new beat, check it out, just say like, hey, I just made this new beat. It kind of reminds me of 50 Cent. What do you guys think? Who could you hear on this? You're going to get 10 times more interaction with that kind of a post, People feel valued. You want their opinion, and they're going to start like talking to you. So you're fostering a conversation, and that's what you want to be doing if you're marketing.
Wow, that's a very great piece of advice. And I just have a few more questions. What are some things that we can see from AD in the future? I mean, with you or just with the business period? Do you have any new ventures you're trying to go on or new opportunities you're trying to explore?
Always. I mean, I like to stay busy. I'm always doing this stuff. You know, our plan is to really grow the website, annodomination.com, this year. We're planning to overhaul it a bit, add some new features, some really cool stuff. We're going to carry on having contests. So every year we like to do some artist contests with cool prizes. Like we just finished one where we were giving away 16 bar verse with Crooked Eye from, you know, the multi-platinum Slaughterhouse group. So artists love that. So, you know, we're going to carry on doing that kind of stuff. You know, cash prizes and verses and stuff like that, promotion. Another thing I've been doing recently, I've got a drum kit website as well, which is modernproducers.com. So I'm going to be looking to grow that a lot this year. I'd just like to, you know, expand the portfolio and work on different projects. So yeah, there's another one. Well, I can't actually talk about that one too much just yet, but it's basically going to be a public beat selling platform. It's going to be, I mean, on a daily basis, I get at least 10 emails from producers saying, how can I join your website? How can I join your team? And I feel bad that I need to turn them down because I can't just let anyone onto the team, you know?
Right.
So I want to create something for producers for specifically that purpose. Taking everything that I've learned and building it into a website, but doing it on a public scale so that everyone can benefit from it. So that's something I'm going to be looking at, hopefully launching within, I don't know, like 3 or 4 months, something like that.
Wow, that's great, man. That's great. That's definitely a short timeline as well. And for everybody watching, we definitely will have all that information attached to this as well, so that you can keep up to date with AD and everything that he's doing. And you got any closing remarks, AD?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you very much for having me. So anybody, any aspiring producers, any artists who wants any kind of tips, you're free to hit me up. info@annodomination.com. You know, I'm a chill guy. I like to help people out. I like to see other people achieve their goals. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to hit me up.
Once again, man, we thank you for your time. Everybody else, you know, you can definitely catch this video at keefkeys.com, and you can also sign up to our newsletter, to our mailing list, using your technique. Sign up to our mailing list now if you want any more tips, advice, techniques, anything to help you out with your music. And definitely, if you want to see more videos like this, you can just join our mailing list at keefkeys.com, or just go to our YouTube channel and find us right there. And once again, this is Keef Keyz from Behind the Mix. One.